All right. I did have a saved game that was still in the Steam cloud. I went ahead and deleted that so that we're starting from the beginning. A brief kind of disclaimer. Anytime we're reading, or I should say I'm reading, because this is so heavily inspired by like Viking legend and Nordic traditions, I will not even come close to pronouncing many of these words correctly. The story in the Banner Saga changes based on the choices you make. You will occasionally switch between lead characters, witnessing the story unfold from different perspectives. So like right there already, super anxiety, right? Like right from jump, they're like, you goof up and it's your fault. The gods are dead. In their wake, man and giant survived through a tenuous alliance, driving black destroyers called Dredge deep into the northern wastes. Now is an era of growth and trade. Life goes on. Only one thing has stopped: the sun. Stoic Studio.
Að sjá dreggjan á ferli neðanvor. It has been several long months on the road. The first signs of snowfall accost us on our approach to Strand, largest of the trade cities on the Val-human borders, and our last collection before returning to the capital. Several days ago, the sun simply came to a stop in the sky. Though during these long winter days, none of us can be certain how long it has been this way. Some of the men in the caravan have taken it as a dire omen. I am not quick to superstition, but I myself will be glad to be done with this year's rounds. We have been warned by stranded travelers about brigands on the path through Ridgehorn, our road home. Our captain seems unconcerned. Perhaps he is as eager as I to be done here. We will rest here this day and inquire further when we speak to the governor.
These sweeping panoramic shots when you travel are so beautiful. I love the animation's got like that serious animated movie from like the late 80s, early 90s kind of a flavor. Looks so good. So I think it hits us with a little bit of a tutorial here, if I remember correctly. This game is a little unique among strategy RPGs, so they're going to walk us through some of the differences. You've arrived just in time. The chieftain in red and his men are now looking at a tougher fight than they bargained for. Drag around the screen to see your surroundings. Click the check mark to continue. So they do this awesome thing where they kind of take these 2D scenes and layer stuff in the foreground and drop things behind in the background. Again, almost like a diorama, and I think that the visual effect is just beautiful. These portraits show the order of initiative, taking turns from left to right. Your allies are blue, the enemy is red. It's your turn to act. So there's normally like two schools of thought in strategy RPGs. There's like the teams exchange turns where your whole team goes, their whole team goes, and then there's the like set initiative order based on speed. This game does something different where it alternates no matter what, and we'll kind of show you that as we go here. So we've got a shield banger here. Movement happens before action. This ring shows your shield banger is active. The blue tiles around him show where he can move. Some characters fill more tiles than others. The horned allies are a race of giants called Varl, who take up 4 tiles each, while humans fill a single tile. This can have a huge impact on your strategy. Click the tile you want to move to, then click the check mark to confirm. Move your shield banger here to get him into attack range. To target an enemy, click the tile on which they stand. Ally tiles are blue, the enemies are red. Target this enemy now by clicking on his tile. You can either choose to attack the enemy's strength or break his armor. The numbers beneath each icon, 2 and 5, show the damage you will do to that stat. So this is one of the major departure points, is that every character has two health meters. The armor meter isn't really representative of health. That is, as it sounds, it's armor. But what's really unique is that the health meter is also the damage you deal. So like we're going to do 5 damage to this guy. That's how much health he's got. So when we attack him here, oh, it's not going to let me do it yet. Strength counts as both health and damage. A loss of 2 strength means you'll now do 2 less damage. If strength falls to 0, the character falls in battle. So it's an interesting trade-off that like you can't just tank damage. Even like little death by 1,000 cuts, kind of tiny damage, still impacts the battle. Armor blocks strength damage, but can be reduced by a break attack. By breaking armor, you open them up to take more damage in the future. This enemy only has 5 strength remaining. A strength attack will kill him. Click the fist now to attack his strength, and then click continue to confirm. Woof! Get shield banged. He's down. Each time you make a kill, your renown grows, which is used later to improve your characters. After taking an action, your turn ends. Next up is the enemy. Turns always alternate, even if you are outnumbered. Despite being at full strength, the chieftain will do little damage against your shield banger's high armor. So our shield banger here, does it show me his stats? No, but it doesn't matter. Now it's your warhawk's turn. He appears to be out of range of these enemies, but all characters can use willpower to boost their actions. Willpower is a limited resource, so use it wisely. So he's got 8 willpower. Willpower is spent to move further, hit harder, and perform your abilities, but does not replenish. So his 8 is all he gets for the whole fight. If we move him here, by clicking on gold tiles, a character can move further than usual, but at the cost of 1 willpower per gold tile. Red, pulsing tiles beneath your enemies show how close you'll have to be in range. So since we can move here and their tiles light up, it means we can hit them. Move your warhawk into attack range now. So as you can see, there's 2 little pips here up above my move. That means that to get there, I'm exerting myself beyond my normal move range. So I'm going to spend 2 willpower to make this move. So now his willpower is down to 6. And again, that doesn't replenish for the rest of the fight. Standard attacks only affect a single enemy, but your warhawk has a special ability that gives him a unique advantage. Click your warhawk's tile to access his ability. Clicking your character's tile will bring up all of his combat options, including move, ability, attack, and end turn. Click the purple ability icon now. So we're next to 2 enemies. Tempest lets us attack everyone around us. The ability description appears in the tooltips below. The Warhawk's Tempest allows him to slam multiple enemies at once. So it says Tempest, strike adjacent enemies in a spin attack. Rank 1, normal strength damage to 2 adjacent enemies, going clockwise from the target. So that's important because if we had more than 2 people here, it's always gonna attack my target and then the next target in a clockwise spin. So we want to click this guy and we're gonna hit him with our Tempest. Boom. Pillage. So pillage mode is where that alternating turns kind of falls apart. That made quick work of the chieftain's bodyguards. When there's only 1 enemy left, players enter pillage mode. During pillage, each character moves in order and there are no more guaranteed turns. Check the initiative to see how the order has changed. Your allies now get to move twice in a row. This character does not move on his turn, but he can rest to regain 1 willpower. The chieftain will rest this turn. Looks like the chieftain is in some trouble. Your shield banger won't be able to finish the job with a normal attack, but willpower can be used to boost your damage. Click the chieftain's tile to attack. So he has 9 strength left. So if we do our max 8, because that's what our health's at. Remember, we took 1 damage and our hit points and our attack strength are kind of tied together. But by cashing in a willpower, we can do 9. Dunzo. So, like I say, it's a pretty standard strategy RPG kind of a layout. but with some extra trimmings that make it a little bit unique.
Like a rabid wolf, that one. How did it come to this? We fool ourselves believing that peace will last. My grandfather built all this from a poor fishing village, you know. He watched the gods die, watched the chaos that followed, watched man and var slaughter each other, even before the dreads arose. All we've done is traded one struggle for another. Now that there are no more dreads to war against, we war against ourselves. This chieftain meant to kill me, and he's not the first. A dozen families in the city would gladly take my chair. This one had men waylaying merchants, both north and south of the city, strangling trade quite well, I would add, though he denied it to his lust. This sort of wolf doesn't stop biting because the head is cut off. It just grows a new head. I'm in a bad way, my friend. Help me finish this fight and I'll gladly send you on your way with double our king's tithe. Take any men you need. They're loyal, I promise you that. They will meet you down in the proving grounds.
How's the audio level? Can you guys hear the dialogues? Chapter 1. Only the sun has stopped. You're approached by a familiar man who walks in step with you as you're leaving the Great Hall. He cuts to the chase. Eric, steward of Strand. I manage the governor's business. Ubman, isn't it? It is. Governor tells me you'll be giving us a hand. Seems a bit chaotic. What do you have in mind? What do you have in mind? Scalfings that you didn't hack up in the Great Hall scattered after you took out their chieftain. The governor wants you to make sure that they stay down. Was hoping you'd join me at the marketplace by the docks. If there's anyone left to worry about, I know who can tell us. Click the market tent to visit the merchants. Let me handle this. You meander through rows of open-face houses and eroded stalls. Colored canvases flap on a briny current. One man in particular blanches as you approach. Had, I'm not in the mood today. For what? Talking to an idiot. The Scalfing's chieftain bled out about an hour ago, Had. So when you tell me what rat anus the rest of them crawled back into, nobody's gonna try and kill you this time. They don't talk to me. I don't have the patience for this. Eric needs some help there. Let's go with that. I had a change of heart. I hope you do give us a hard time. Had sweats visibly, fumbling with some dirty trinkets on his table. Wait, just buy one of these. If everybody thinks I'm getting worked over every week, how am I supposed to know much? Just a little food money, yeah? Yeah, I'll pay him. You toss a sliver of silver on the table. Both men look at you with surprise. Had gestures meekly to a variety of junk from his stall. Take whatever you like. Only thing I'd like is the name of a place. Nobleman, up by Eastwall. But that was months ago, last I know. Had skulks away with a wave of Eric's hand, gathering things from his hovel. Disappearing for a while until this blows over, you figure. Your bodyguard steps forward. This is Ganulf. He's one of our fighters. Are we done here? I love the, breeze on the portraits. Ganulf, were you wearing green back at the Great Hall? No, just bought them while you were walking around. Why? You look like a frog. No reason. They look good. I think Ganulf looking fresh. I'm glad you care. Ganulf goes back to look at more stalls. Eric, that man of yours seemed unreliable at best. A blind dog wouldn't trust Had, but he used to be a Scalfing. If they're licking their wounds, they've probably gone to an old haunt, not new ones. Nobleman is a meat hall? Best I can tell, the name's ironic. Listen, I know a guy who would love to put a few of those skulls in the ground. I'm gonna go find him. I'll meet you there. Shouldn't we have an approach of some sort? Where after this I'm done here. Shouldn't we have an approach of some sort? What a luxury. Come on, you've already mopped up worse today. Just make sure the governor remembers his promise. Double the usual tithe. I'll remind him. All right, so we got to go to the mead house for another rumble. You arrive in front of what appears to be noblemen. A few minutes later, Eric appears with a weather-beaten man introduced as Valgard. I'll point them out, Eric says over his shoulder. Ready? Let's get it over with. You're walking through the front door. I'd rather sit this one out. Let's get it over. Let's just get at it. I'm ready. That's the spirit, says Valgard. Okay, here we go. Valgard boots the front door open so hard it won't close again without repair. As you enter the hall, Eric is already at the head of the table, his axe drawn. Wide-eyed, drunken scalflings scramble to find their own weapons, turning tables and mead steins in the process. It's a rumble now. It's like the start of a D&D campaign, just like bar fights and new friends. I love it. All right. So we get a chance to like adjust our lines to start the fighting. So here's our shield banger, Warhawk, and now we have the added human units. So do I split them up 2 and 2 maybe? I think that's the move here. And then what's the order they're going in? Can I change? No, I can't change that. Pooh. All right, we're ready. So we got a human. Look at them. It's going to be butchery. So there's something to be said about not allowing yourself to be first hit, right? So like, whoop. How do I? Okay. So with Valgard here, I can't get in range of an enemy, but if I move forward at all, I am in danger of being at range, and it's actually this guy that goes next. So what I think I'm going to do with him, Stonewall does what? Blocks damage to strength and armor for 1 round, and it can block 3 damage per hit. So I have 13 armor. He's only got 8 strength, so he can't hit me. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to move forward, and we're going to throw on Stonewall, which is going to take up 1 of our will. So he is stonewalled. So now when this dude comes up to hit us, get out of here. All right, what's your special? Rally gives willpower to allies at any range. Interesting. So we could use his to give... It's going to take me a minute to get used to the UI here. We could give him back... Oh, no, probably not, because we were overcharged. We have +2 due to the caravan's morale, and the morale's at the highest because we just started. Who's up next? You can get to there. So if we move, they're going to get to go before him. I'm going to just hold my ground here. We'll let them come to us. So now this guy we can get at. So I think now is the time to get in and start a little bit of a ruckus. And I'm going to start off. We can do 4 damage. Yeah, I'm not even going to worry about chipping his armor away, because I think we can just clear him straight out. Plus now when his next turn comes up, he does barely any damage. So Gandalf does not have enough movement to really get anywhere and do anything. But he's got so much health. We're going to move him up. Just end his turn here. So that was an armor attack, but it looks like it cost him armor in the process, which seems like a fool's errand. All right, so we can kill this guy, but here's one of the things that makes the Banner Saga kind of unique. In most strategy RPGs, focus firing and then bringing down targets on the battlefield is very much to your advantage on the attack. The less enemy units, the less damage is incoming to your team, the more battlefield control you possess. Now, where things get different for the Banner Saga, remember, health and damage are tied together. So this guy can do 3 damage. And for most of our heroes, that's not even close to our armor. So even if he comes in swinging as hard as he can, it just doesn't really do anything. So instead of downing him right away, what I'm going to do is this guy who has much more health and as a result has much more damage capability, we're going to hit him for the 7 points here. Now his strength is 1. It's like fighting someone on death's door. He can't do anything. All right, so let's move in here. This is going to use 2 willpower to get up tight. And then we're going to attack. We can do 3 damage. We can take that to, yeah, let's take that to 5 with will. That's fine. We're not going to need all the willpower to get through this fighting anyway. So yeah, like that guy's going to hit us for some damage. Barely anything. We lost a little bit of armor. He actually probably screwed over his teammates more than anything because now he just took up a spot that's adjacent. That guy's got the 1 health. Again, we're not super interested in bringing him down because he's not really an effective combatant any longer. 2 damage there. That's kind of a bummer. All right, so now let's move Gandalf in here, and then we're gonna Tempest spin. But who do we want to? We need to hit this guy because he's the one that's got full health. So we'll just choose him as the primary target to make sure that he's getting hit. Get wrecked, nerds. So we got our 1 renown there. And I think we can basically get into mop-up territory. Let's have you come over and attack this guy since he's still full strength. Yeah, let's do this. That gets him down to 1. Oh no, not your 1 damage. And at this point, it's just a matter of going through and knocking the last of them over. Now I think Renown, I don't remember if that's a shared resource or if that is a individual resource. So there is definitely some thought to being smart about who gets the last strike on some of these guys. So like Gandalf's already got 2 renown from having killed guys. So we'll hold off on him. And now there's only 1 left on the enemy team, so it's pillage mode. And so now this one's dunsies. And we'll finish him off. You can get him, right? Yeah. Promoted. All right, cool. So we're gonna get to see how level ups work too. Victory. The foes lying dead. Well, it just said people died. Promotion for Eric and Gandalf. And here's our renown. So renown is a currency that we're gonna spend to level our characters. There they are. Gods be damned. I've got to go wash off this blood. Eric is looking through the hall's windows onto the bay. A fleet of longships approach with sails of bold reds and blues. One banner I know well, Vognir. Next for Varl Kingship last we spoke. The other flag? Oh, it looks important. Yeah, important guests. See what I deal with all day long? Ah, things make a little more sense. You hoped I'd have a stake in saying everything's fine here when the royal guests arrive. Not me, the governor. Now, I have to make sure that there are no rotting bodies or pools of entrails still in the Great Hall before they come by. Can I ask one more favor? What is it? If you happen to stall our guests down on the docks, I wouldn't object. Huh, maybe I will. Eric and Valgard hustle from the mead house. To his credit, Eric tosses the barkeep a spar of silver for the mess. You give an apologetic shrug and go to meet the new arrivals down at the docks. Vognir. A familiar Varl steps onto the docks. In your mind, you recall a much younger version trampling the halls of Grofheim, abundant in purpose. Gods, Ubin, you're looking ancient. Comes with being old. And if there's a Vognir, there must be Hakon. Must there? Can we? Yeah, we can shift it to see Hakon. Still bleeding tributes from the poor and stupid, old Yaks? At what age do you lose a sense of shame? Yorunder demands it. I'll take that over lingering to death in Grofheim. Speaking of, I had no sense that you were so far from home. Just returned from Arborang, in fact, and glad for it. Hakon motions to the other ships in the bay, sails still fluttering. Golden Wolfhead emblazoned on red. The king of men, or someone on his behalf. The king's whelp. The king's son, Ludin. Don't you know, Scrivener? We visit his capital, he visits ours. It's how you make alliances these days. It's a miserable waste of time. Hakon just looks like he's ready to go drink. Yes, Hakon, it is. Oh, yes, Hakon has it. I'd almost forgotten. It's a good thing you're around, Hakon. Then you're going to Grofheim? I have the distinct feeling I've finished my business in Strand and was headed there myself. We should caravan. We should. Give it a day. In better circumstances, I'd drink a week away, but let's just be done. Find me tomorrow at the gates. What he's trying to say is, the prince is a delight to behold. Where is Moger? Hakon, have him find a place to put up the warriors. I'm heading to meet the governor. A host of giants depart in his wake. You recognize a few. Others are strangers to you. Guess I'm off to find Moger. See you in the morning, Scrivener. I'll be along. The young prince of men ambles from his ship. He brushes off his tunic, scanning the beach with low eyelids. Luden looks for all the world the sort of boy who grew up pulling the legs from spiders. The long road back to Grofheim should be more interesting than most years, you think? So that's kind of set the stage. We have some very important Varl and very important humans that are going to caravan together. Weariness suddenly settles in, and you chuckle to yourself about what an odd day it has been. One of the governor's men at the Great Hall could find you a place to sleep. On the other hand, if you're going to join Wagner's caravan tomorrow, it might not hurt to share a drink with Hakon, or introduce yourself to the prince he spoke so highly of. Click a talk icon to converse with one of your heroes, so we will certainly do that. Let's go meet the prince first. Is this the right place? You find the prince at an inn. Guards blanket the building, including a sharp-eyed Varl who must be working for Luden. A woman in red eventually waves you over and stands nearby, arms crossed. Greetings, Prince Luden. Yes? You're with Wagner? I don't remember you. Not exactly. I've known Wagner a long time. I'll be joining you back to Grofheim with my guards. Luden looks up for the first time. The woman doesn't react. Why? Well, I work for the king, carrying tithes to the capital. We crossed by chance. Oh, a tax collector. Fine company. What do you want? Just to introduce myself, I'd hope to learn more about you. I have a habit of recording history. I thought we might talk about your visit. So, Uden is like your kind of avatar in the story. He's a non-combatant, and he's just there kind of recording stuff. So I like leaning into this thought that we're just here to record his visit. A Varl historian? Ha! Don't you already know? Your king and mine both have been practically trumpeting it throughout the cities. I've been on the road a while, I'm afraid. Luden takes a deep sigh. Whether tired or ungracious, you aren't certain. Maybe both. A formality, mostly. Wagner came to our capital in Arbereng, and now we visit the Varl's capital in Grofheim to cement the grand alliance for the next age of men and Varl. You sound unconvinced. There's no need for it, and it's damn cold up here. You get the sense he's struggling not to complain outright. You take the opportunity to excuse yourself. Man, what a spoiled brat. Let's go talk to Hakon. Scrivener! You find Hakon in a mead house surrounded by other Varl. Strand is no stranger to Varl, but rarely sees this many. Hakon waves you over. Went straight for a flagon? Wagner's the one who agreed to pass up a drink. I wasn't invited to the governor's hall anyway. Well, you already missed the massacre. Every year I make the rounds collecting taxes. Every year it's the human settlements that give me trouble. No surprise. What this time? When I got here, the Great Hall was already full of bodies. We added a few more. Humans. I guess if I only lived as long as a Yoxfart, I might be desperate to make something of myself too. Well, it's not too late to start trying, Hakon. Hakon lets slip a low chuckle. Any Varl could recount his deeds, known as he is for cutting a swath through Dredge at Wagner's side in the Second War, and regularly since then. Down here, I'm a glorified bodyguard. You might have a point. Just another reason to get back to Grofheim. Soon enough, I imagine. You drink until the meat house becomes overbearing, then step back into the cool air outside. So now, nothing else left to do in town. Let's go to the Great Hall. -1 supplies. At dawn, you're awoken by the delivery of goods. At least, you think it's dawn. Damn hard to tell with a sun that never moves. The governor's crest adorns the supply leathers. All there, just as promised, to your mild surprise. You wonder if Eric had anything to do with that. +20 renown. Your guards take the treasure wagon down to the gates. Wagner is already there, or is already here. A while later, Luden and his men appear, groggy and disheveled. Mulger steps forward, Wagner's quartermaster, if you recall correctly, in charge of his unwieldy entourage of warriors. You know him only in passing. He asks if you're ready to depart. We're ready. You follow Moger and the others. Usually, the smaller doors set into the gates would be enough to enter or leave the city, but the town guards have been told to push them open entirely. They mutter things under their breath that are best not heard. Perhaps the governor expected you to draw a crowd, but there's nothing of the sort. Just frustrated, tired people. It summarizes Strand well as a whole, you think. So the other half of this game, kind of the strategy layer, aside from the tactical layer, you know, if you think of a game like XCOM, where the strategy kind of exists in two parts. There's the kind of turn-by-turn tactical fights when you're in combat, and then there's a larger strategic element. In this game, these travel sequences are that strategic element. So you saw just there that we lost some supplies, and as a result, our morale dipped a little bit. Every time that circle fills up, we're going to have kind of a day pass on our journey, and you have to make decisions that are going to affect how the caravan is reacting. The caravan stops for the day. A gift, says Moger, cracking open mead casks. From our gracious friend, the governor of Strand. Hours pass with raucous laughter as the mead is passed throughout camp. Drink a little, drink a lot, toast to Wagner. We're just gonna drink a little. You go easy. You've nothing against a good drink, but if anyone is going to keep an eye on things, it may as well be you. The revelers eventually fall asleep without incident. So morale improved. So we just lost morale because we were using up some stuff, but then we got it back because we drank a little bit. You rise groggily, the campsite a casualty of merriment. Moger is already kicking warriors awake when you spot Luden stalking in your direction. He sidesteps sleeping bodies. Better wake up, you nudge Wagner. You're needed. Ah, it's Luden. Always a pleasure. You look well rested. Wagner releases a caged yawn and receives a hard-eyed stare in return. How long to Grofheim? Ha! We're only 2 days out of Strand, you know. Come, I'll show you on a map. I don't remember the loading screens taking so long. That's interesting. This is the map of the world. You can explore it by dragging the mouse to pan and using the mouse wheel to zoom. So this is like their super well executed kind of hand-drawn map. I love the details of the creases where it's probably stuffed in someone's pocket. So they were down here in Aberrang. This is the kind of seat of power of the Kingdom of Man. And we are in this area off Dengler's Bay. And we're traveling up to Grofheim. So I think the road we take is this one. I guess we'll find out in a moment. The location of your caravan is indicated here by Euban's icon. The world map is covered with many locations and hold much lore. You can explore the map at any time, clicking on locations for more information. So I don't know how much of this will do, but like I can read Strand as the city we were just in. As close as anything comes to a bastion of racial tolerance, both men and Varl compete compete to scratch out a living in this, the biggest trade city along the west coast. Many people still believe the god Dengler watches over it, granting good fortune. So like every location on this map has a little blurb like that, which is so cool. All right. We head north, then east, past the forts. Grofheim's far from Strand. It's going to be a long march. You should have drank last night, Luden. Why not take the ships to Skrimmerstead? Skrimmerstead. What's the point of marching? The Silverstone Bay is called that for a reason. It stays covered in ice all year. It would tear up the longships. Too bad, though. We could have shown you all the wonders of Skimmerstead. A half-sunken city crawling with dredge, Prince. Dredge and glaciers. You like glaciers? Luden exhales through the nose, a poor disguise for his contempt. He turns and bats aside the tent flaps as he goes, barking at his company in the distance. Don't poke the anthill, Wagner. He seems no happier to be here than you. Spend a few more days with the boy, old friend. You'll be looking for a tall cliff to hop off, too. Luden's got a shorter wick than Hakon. Thanks, Wagner. Let's get moving. Another half day to Verderfell, if we're lucky. Camp is where you manage your caravan. During travel, you can enter camp at any time by tapping the camp button on the travel HUD. While at camp or in towns, you can upgrade your allies or equip items in the hero's tent. You can pass time by using the rest tent. Resting will improve the caravan's morale. A high morale will reduce casualties in war and affect your willpower in combat. Each passing day will use supplies, so only rest when necessary. The training tent will allow you to safely try out any characters in a mock battle. Tap leave at the bottom of the campsite when you're ready to get back on the road. So we are going to go into the heroes tent because we have a couple units ready for promotion. Click on a unit to view stats, promote ranks, and learn about its abilities. So we know Gandalf is ready for a promotion. Click the ability to learn about this, or click the ability button to learn about this unit's abilities. So this is Tempest. We've seen that a couple of times. As it ranks up, it's going to hit more dudes. And then he also gets a passive called Heavy Impact. The character hits so hard that any enemies standing adjacent to his target on a strength attack take 1 strength damage from the shockwave. Hitting a target like a Varl or a Dredge who takes up 4 tiles can potentially cause an impact across many more victims than hitting a single target, such as a human. And then these other stats are his armor, strength, which again, remember, is strength, kind of damage and health blended together. Willpower. This is chain, which I believe is how many willpower can be used. So like if you remember Gandalf in that opening battle, we couldn't move extra distance like we could with the others. It's because he has no chain, so he can't move extra spaces. And then break is the natural amount of damage he will do to enemy armor. So like you can see kind of at a glance, each guy has a little bit of information just based on their stat distribution, which is based off their class, of how they're meant to function. So like you can see big armor, big damage, get in there, do a bunch of damage. He's not worried about breaking armor as much. But if you look at Luden, a Spearmaster, or Hakon, a War Master, the distribution's a little bit different. We are going to promote Gunnulf. So promotion, the greatest warriors on the battlefield are those who live past their first battles to start a journey down the path to legend. So this is going to cost 5 of the renown we've earned, but it'll increase his stats and give us a better item rank. This unit has points available to spend on improving stats. Activate one of the plus buttons above. So I am going to, I think, put 1 into break, or in chain rather, so that if we need to hustle and get Gunnulf somewhere, he has that ability to expend some willpower. And then I don't remember how you level up abilities. That might be something outside of the standard leveling system. I guess we just put another point into strength for him, because that's kind of how he's built to function. Although I don't hate putting it into armor to keep his strength higher. We could put 1 into break just so that he kind of has his break stuff set for good. No, you know what? I'm going to stick with my instincts here and put it into his strength. So if you see down here, this is how you earn a promotion, is through racking up a total number of kills. But earning the promotion doesn't automatically grant it. You then have to spend the renown to trigger it. Hey, what's up, man? All right, so he was our only available promotion. So if we move on, that should be the, I think that's the end of the camp tutorial. We don't need to go train. We'll kind of see those guys in combat here as we go. And we have no need for a rest. All right, so the caravan continues.
Even the name means bad weather, where frozen wind sweeps in from the bay. They tend livestock, but most are just men driven from Strand with nowhere else to go. Why else would anyone stay? We won't stop long.
So we've got this. Now it's basically 3 traveling parties combined. It's the tax collector along with the combined Luden and Vognir traveling groups. By Harderborg, that's a lot of Varl for some missing cattle. What? A couple days back, sent word to Strand about the cattle. Didn't expect an army. He looks pleased with himself until it sinks in that you aren't here on his behalf. Where have your cattle gone? Wouldn't know. My boy's seen men up in the hills carrying him away. Don't know many men who can hoist a whole cow by himself. Scalfing's out here, maybe. Could they have Varl working for them? Not from what the governor told me. I'm going to take a look around and get camp set up. The peasant spits, his eyes anxiously darting about as the caravan sets up tents. We'll be here no more than a day. There's silver for any food you've got. For hundreds of varl? Are you serious? Whatever you're willing to sell. You thinking of squatting? Not enough room for a couple hunters here. Forget hundreds of... Shut up. Hear that? Where's Luden? It's faint. Sounds like fighting and something else. Hakon takes off at a run. Epic battle drum. Clicking any tile will automatically make a path, but you can also set waypoints. Click once to make a waypoint, and now select the next waypoint. This is often useful when you need to avoid certain tiles. Confirm the move. Spearmen can attack diagonally and up to 2 tiles away. Click the right banner to compare your stats with the enemy's. What's the right banner? Armor blocks attack on strength. For each enemy armor higher than your strength, there is a 10% chance that the attack will be deflected. Notice the chance to hit shown above the attack button. Attack this enemy's strength. So here's Luden going up against something way out of his league. We got a 50% chance to even hit it. Oh man, what a dummy. Deflected attacks do no damage. From here on out, you will fail catastrophically if you don't break armor. Damaging both strength and armor is equally important. Oh, Luden, you dum-dum. He got worked. So these are the dredge that we've heard them reference a couple of times. So Hakon here goes first. Who's next? The guy in the back? So if I get in too tight, he can hit me. So let's do this. Move up here. Now Hakon, Sundering Impact. Plus 100% or 100% to hit, strength damage +1, 1 break to target, 1 break added to heavy impacts. So this will do what? Added strength and armor damage to target and adjacent enemies. Sure. Oh, that was not as much as I thought it was going to be. And now Gunnulf is only going to be able to do like 2 damage to this dude. So this is a rare instance where I think we are going to spend the time to have Gunnulf use his armor. Well, but that's... Oh, so 2 armor, or we have him do 2 less damage. Because we can actually make that 3. 11. So he'll break through Gunnulf's armor. That's fine. Okay. So he's going to hit Gunnulf for a 5-piece. Not ideal, but we're still dancing. So here's Mogr. So Mogr's like super tanky. He's our shield banger in this group. Bring the pain. Break damage to target divided by +1, return the favor for 1 round. Breaks an enemy's armor and punishes enemies for retaliating. So let's do this then. Did I already move my max move? Oh, I already finalized my move is the problem. So if I attack you, I do barely anything, but we can armor. Let's do that. So Gunnulf's taking a whooping here. We got to get some armor chipped off on this guy so we can actually break through and do damage. Hakon's going to take a shot now, which is unfortunate. But it wasn't much, so he's still in the neighborhood. Alright, so Gunnulf's only doing 8 now, which means we really can't do much of anything with him. Which is a disaster. I might have wanted to just literally move him out of there, because he's going to get a whooping. Move you into place. So you don't go for a couple turns. Let's bring this guy's attack down to size. Gunnulf takes another shot, so unfortunately he is like on death's door, as it were. You're up next, but you're only doing 4 now. Let's bring your attack down. Alright, that helps. So now they're not doing nearly as much. 5. So this guy now can't hurt Gunnulf. Let's see. I don't think I can move Gunelf in such a way that he's suddenly not able to get damaged. So that's fine. We'll just have you cash in. I believe if you fall in combat, other than very specific situations, it just means that you have to rest in camp. So that's okay. We can live with that. All right, sweet. So even though Gunelf's like super low on health, we've actually gotten to a point with him here where unless they chip in and hit him with some damage, whenever an enemy falls in battle, 1 willpower star is added to your horn. Using the horn will give 1 to an active ally. All right, that's very cool. So this guy's the bigger concern. Well, we can't really do much for you. Let's just take some armor off on him. I'd like to give the damage or the kills to the other heroes here, because Gunelf's already ranked up once. Let's see. You have 6. You have 4. Yes. So we will get rid of you because the other guy doesn't hit as hard. Now it's pillage mode. Can I see? Is there a way for me to see your current kill counts? Doesn't look like it. I think we are going to give this kill to Hakon. Hakon. All right, so that means he gets a promotion. Ooh. All right, promotion for Hakon. I'm really glad. You know, it's been a long time since I've tried to play this one. The fact that I was able to have Gunelf down to 1 health and still kind of piece together the way to keep him safeguarded is very heartening. You trying to get yourself killed, Luden? What are you doing? I was trying to get a shot in between the plates. You never seen a dredge before, boy? What kind of idiot? Break their armor first. Where did they come from? We didn't even see them. They were just there. Hakon goes over to where Vognir lies face down. The future Varl King lies motionless, aside from a spreading pool of blood. Vognir's dead. Uh-oh. Chapter 2. Cut with keen-edged sword. So, we will now jump to our other player party. So up in the northeast, we find... I love the look on Alette's face. Where did that thing come from? Shh. Stay close. I think it saw us. This thing just investigating the arrow is so cool. Deployment happens before a battle. Click your units, Rook and Alette, to deploy them within the blue squares. Click ready to begin. So we're going to bring Rook up front and Alette a little bit over and ready up. Be careful, don't get too close. Click a unit's portrait to see information about their abilities. So Light Step lets him move through allies. Marks prey, does an armor break damage, and all allies within range attack the marked target. Ooh. So he can get up to here, so we want to be there. And now Homeboy should move forward. And now Alette is an archer. So we're going to get a ranged unit here finally. What does Thread the Needle do? Hits all units between the archer and the target, doing bonus armor break damage. She gets bonus strength damage when she stays stationary. The orange squares indicate the attack range, the range of the unit's attack. Archers like Rook and Alette have a much longer range than melee units. Oh, that's right. Rook can attack from range too. Let's break some armor. So he's gonna go, and because I moved Rook forward, he's gonna get attacked. That's fine. More armor chipping, please. Ooh, we left Alette open, so she's gonna take 1. I don't think we're gonna back up, or do we have to? Can I just attack from here? No. Okay, so she does have to back up before she can get a shot off, and that's fine. So we will attack. Still just the one, huh? The one health that we took from this guy's attack did not help our situations. All right, that's okay. So Rook, you're gonna back up now. And now you can get a pretty good shot in. And this will get us into a position. Oh, that's right, because Rook does the cool thing where he slashes his axe into the ground and then fires his bow. What a rad animation. And then Alette will get the finish. Schwunk. Got him. Was that a dredge? Alette looks calm, but you can tell her heart is about to beat right out of her chest. It was. Let me see. Are you hurt? No, I'll be fine. When the dredge attacked your cart and the ox bolted, it spilled most of your supplies. You can see more dark figures moving through the trees when you glance that direction. All that food. That's the last we're going to get before winter. What do we do? Don't run. Let me think. Forget the supplies. If we hurry, we can gather them before more dredge appear. Do you think you can handle more of them? Let's gather some before they get close. I can still see them in the trees. Are you sure about this? No, we have to try. Be quick. Alette calms the ox while you frantically toss supplies back into the cart. More dredge emerge, but you manage to get the cart moving again before they can close in. The colossal figures slowly recede into the distance. Okay, sweet. So that did earn us some more supplies. Supplies represent food and other goods used to keep everyone alive on the road. When supplies are gone, people will start to die of starvation. The more people are in the caravan, the faster supplies will diminish. You can see how many days of supplies you have left on the travel display at the top of the screen. Most towns will have supplies to sell, as well as a few items. So we're headed to Skogr. I love our tiny little... You know, we just got done seeing that huge caravan from Wagner's group, and now Rook, it's just him and Alette in their cart. It's so cool. Man, we had a lot of supplies. Do you think the flag is what helped the dredge find us?
I never expected to see the dredge with my own eyes. What happened in the north? Already we see more between the trees as we approach our home, and Alette grips my hand tight. We must find Ivor.
This painterly look. The cinematic travel sequences in this game make for such excellent looking wallpapers. I wonder if Stoic ever released like an art companion book or something like that. This game is like begging for it. Ivor. The enormous Varl in question towers over the men in the training field. He squints as you approach. Already back, Huntmaster? I thought you'd be tomorrow. Dredge. Everywhere. Dredge? How'd they get through Greyhorn? Must have broken through the fort. The fighters nearby have stopped sparring. They gather around you. Damn it. They'll be here soon if they're not already. You hear screams. From the outskirts, people are running towards the Great Hall. Ivor turns to one of the older boys in his group of fighters. Eagle, take Alette and go to the Great Hall. Tell the chieftain what's happening. The rest of you gather up as many people as you can. Come on, Alette. No, wait, I want to help. Let them fight. No, go and get the guy. I want more people to be aware that we are under attack. Alette looks like she might protest, but scowls to run off to safety. Gods, Rook, don't start telling them I know what I'm doing. I know it's a stretch, but they bought it. What's the plan? Just hold off any dredge we see until everyone's inside, then figure it out. More shouts draw your attention to some houses atop a nearby hill. I'm doing great, man. You having a good day? Did you stream it all today, buddy? So we've got to go to the house. Sure enough, dredge are gathering in number. Fear threatens to bubble over into panic. How long do we need to keep this up, you ask? Ivor shakes his head unknowingly. That's a bad sign. Turn order. Units move in the turn order you place them from left to right. This initiative order is very important when setting up strategies. For example, put archers after melee units so that they can stay safe behind your heavy hitters. So yeah, that is a for certain. We're going to have Ivor go first so that Ivor can get in tight. We have an item here, a Let's bracelet, lovingly made by a hunter's wife to keep her daughter safe from harm. Well, Alette's not here right now, so we're going to have Rook wear that. 1 arm, 1 strength, 1 will. God, that is a banging accessory. Awesome. BF3? Oh, did it just go into Prime Gaming? Is that why there's so many level 1s? Man, Battlefield is tough business to be playing without all the gear you get from unlocks. There's some games where that doesn't really matter, but man, in Battlefield, that is brutal. Battlefield's one of those games that I think, like, the grind to get all the gear you need is just so overwhelming. I can remember, I haven't played Battlefield real seriously in a long time, but I can remember in, like, I think even Battlefield 3 still had the problem. If you weren't high enough level to have, like, full metal jacket rounds, brutal. Even worse than noobs in CS. Well, yeah, like Afterlife in CS, at least if you're a noob, you still have access to the same equipment. In Battlefield, not only are you a noob skill-wise, but you're also fighting against guys who have access to way better munitions. So I think we're gonna move way over here with the hope of getting these guys down before the dudes at the north end of the fight can join. And then if we have them a low enough health level, we can maybe just kind of like choke the battlefield with them standing around. So you have 8 armor. Yeah, I am definitely going to take you down to 5. You have 14 armor, Ivor. What a stud. And then Rook's got to go all the way up here to get a hit in. 3. So if I do 3, yes, we will do that. Get a shot in on you, make it 4. All right, so these 2 dredge can do armor damage to me now, but they really can't do much to me in the way of strength damage. So I'm gonna attack you and turn you into a 1 damage boy. So yeah, they're gonna just start chipping away. You're a 1. All right, so those guys are effectively, all they're gonna do to me is armor stuff, which sucks, but like, that's fine. So now we can afford to get in tight with Ivor and start hammering away on my dude here. Battering ram. Knock back up to 4 tiles for 1 break plus 1 per unit they pass through. So that's gonna do 2 break, but it's also gonna push him all the way over. Oh, hell yeah. Get on out, son. Then he's got to waste a turn walking back. I feel good about that one. Rook can get into range. Just have him do break. Still got 3 willpower, so that's fine. Ivor's going to take some break damage here, I would assume. Yep. Well, that made him lose armor too, huh? Move him back into range. Yeah, just more break, please. We need to be able to do damage on him. On the next round for Ivor, which should be coming up after this dude to the north moves, I think then we finally turn loose and hit him with a strength attack. 10, 8. So that would only be 2. 9. So he's going to take 2. Okay. More armor. I'm going to get 2 damage soaked up here, unfortunately. Oh, did that make him lose him? What an idiot. Just handed me armor. All right. 4 health makes you kind of inconsequential. And then Ivor's going to have to do some business on this dude up to the north. So do I 3? Takes you to 7. I'm going to do that since the other guys are all basically one taps from dying, I don't need to worry about chipping this guy's armor down as much. Because even if they get through all of Ivor's armor at this point, for what? Like, it won't really do anything. And then from here, basically every attack should take a guy out, and then we'll be done. One of the things that I really struggled with the first time I played this is I still very much tried to use the focus fire combat strategy. And like, so imagine if I had peeled through those two guys early, and then the two fresh fighters, now they were just getting turn after turn after turn. That would suck. I would be so frustrated because I'd just be getting murderlated. So by keeping some guys alive with very little health, it just kind of makes it so that you can just steamroll the rest of the battle. I made most of my gaming friends through Battlefield, including Fatty. Yeah, Battlefield's one of those games, you know, much more so than a game like a CS, because Battlefield requires such teamwork and coordination. I think it lends itself really well to kind of meeting friends. I think there's kind of this sense that most people think that it's real easy to meet friends in online games, and I don't think that's normally the case, but Battlefield does lend itself to that. Difficulty. Combat can be unforgiving. Don't hesitate to change the difficulty of a battle if it leaves you frustrated or you find yourself needing a tougher challenge. You know what? I love this. We've talked about this before, but I love it when game companies try and take a moment out of their time to be like, look, play it at the level that you're enjoying. We are on normal difficulty. If we get stuck grinding against a boss, we might switch it, but I'm not too worried about it. A black horde is forming at the tree line. Enough of this, says Ivor, glancing over his shoulder. We're going back. Then adds Rook. I'm doing one more check of the houses around here. See if you can find anyone. Got it. You're lucky to escape the notice of more dredge on the way back. You can see them rummaging through homes, tearing the buildings apart. If you're going to look for more survivors, you make a note to do it quickly. Let's talk to Ivor. You find anyone? A few. Sent them inside. Gods, this is bad. I'm out of practice, Rook. Look, as long as I've known you, you've always wormed your way out of talking about dredge. This would be the time to start talking. I can tell you they rarely stop for rest. The sooner we leave, the better. They'll follow us until we're tripping over tired women and children. Then they'll attack. Even after we're wiped out, they'll keep coming, trampling corpses in their wake. There's no end to them. How did anyone survive the Great Wars? Ask the Menders. I wasn't there. But I know you fought your fair share. Yeah, I've killed enough slag for one lifetime. That's why you're gonna save us now. Don't lay that on me. Come on, let's get inside.